Good afternoon, my darlings. I am on the road today for now, and it came to me to share this video with you all, but I'm working off notes. I've actually pulled over and did these notes because I think it's important to share. This video today is all about clues of your past life beyond your South Node. So we're talking about clues beyond your past life in astrology and numerology, because a lot of people just think the South Node is everything about knowing about either a past life identity or how you were in most of your past lives. But also there are other aspects in astrology and numerology that you can possibly put to use. Now, I use the word clues because this is not the be all end all. It cannot be scientifically proven or anything like that. But if you are able to successfully past life regress or have someone do an Akashic record reading, you will often find that what you see in your past life visions during your regression or with an Akashic record report, it often goes in spooky conjunction to what comes out astrologically for you. And a lot of things will make a lot more sense to you. And also understanding synastry, or known as synastry in astrology, like your relationship with another person, it can give you clues to what type of relationship you had with that person in a past life as well. Also, this video is for those, maybe once again, you've tried past life regression and you couldn't successfully do it either the first time or second time, or maybe it's not in your budget to, circulate $250 to $300 or however it is for past life regression. Then this is another way to give you clues. Now, why does it even matter about past lives? Because of the concept of Sankofa. Sometimes in order to understand what we are going through now or are going to go through, it is very important to look back and see where we went wrong or where we went right in a past life in order to move forward and better manage what we are in right now. Because there's really no such thing as past, present, and future. It's all going on simultaneously on the timeline of your soul's journey. But for the purposes of this video, we will call it the past. So that's why it's important to look back. Just like in therapy, a lot of therapists will have you go back and look at childhood dynamics of how you were raised and what you went through in order to understand what you're going through now. It's the same for your soul's journey. Because if you look at the astrological wheel of life, which is also in conjunction to the 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 disciples, it's also the 12 cycles of a human being going from baby to full adulthood experience. So I'm going to explain that in this video. So in general, with me working off of my notes, give me 1 second. I'm going to go back and forth. Hold on 1 second. We are going to talk about your South Node. Yes, we're going to still talk about your South Node, but we're going to talk about your life path number, your soul urge number, the house that your South Node is in, and also the sign right before your rising sign. So it is extremely important to know your rising sign as your time of birth, because that will help you better understand what you're going through. Also, you don't necessarily need your time of birth, not necessarily, to know the South Node, because it's often of generational within a year. But to know the house that your South Node is in, you do need to know the time of your birth as much as possible. Also, there can be clues in your name, but I won't get into that this time. And I'm also not going to go deep into master numbers when I talk about numerology as well. So I'll incorporate a little of that. So once again, it's important to look back a little bit to see what to do now and what we're going to do in the future. So that's the reason for it. Just like when you see a football game, football players, they will often go back and look at the videotape of the game that they just played in order to see how they can improve the next time when they go out there so that they can be better on their A game. So that is the purpose of looking backward in order to go forward, and also looking at the mistakes of our ancestors. So with that being said, it can also help us, you know how a knot is tied like a shoestring knot? It can help us untwist karmic knots in our path and figure out what our addictions, bad habits, patterns, and modus operandi, and what we're doing that's not working, how to undo that and do something different in order to move forward. If we're feeling stuck or always at the doggone crossroads, looking backward can help us move forward. So sometimes, just like you pull an arrow back, you pop forward once you go back a little bit so you can spring forward further and not stay stuck in the same patterns over and over again. With it being a number 7 universal year, it's the perfect time to look within and look behind to see what we're going to do next in the upcoming number 8 year. So with that being said, once again, these are just clues, because you can pass a stranger walking down the street and they have a perfectly aligned chart to you. That does not mean that they are your twin flame or soulmate or person you share the past life with. So once again, these are clues to people you already know or people that have already or will cross your path. And also, once again, knowing thyself, which is more important than anything else. So I'm going to get into it, and I do have quite a lot of notes here. So once again, a few clues to your past life is the sign right before your rising sign will give you a clue to how people viewed you in a past life. The south node is the identity of what you were in a past life, whereas the sign before the rising sign is how people viewed you, what people would say about you from a past life. Also, your soul urge number, life path, south node, and the house that your south node is in. Once again, that is what we are going to be covering today. Now, the sign before your rising sign. So, once again, you must know the birth time. Now, if you were an Aries rising in a past life, it is quite possible you could have had the persona of a Pisces to a certain extent. You could have been someone either that was extremely spiritual and saw God and creator in all people. You could have been a martyr, or you could have sacrificed to a certain extent. You could have repressed verbal expression and exploring and taking action, and just been so caught up in the fantasy world and your imagination that you didn't get up and do things and take bold action towards your life goals and steps. So in this life, you've come as an Aries rising in order to speak the truth as you see it, even if it comes out blunt, to take action, not just stay stuck in your head and your imagination, but to take action and strategic, bold action filled steps towards your goal to move in your destiny. So that's the purpose of the Aries rising. So a past life, once again, you could have had the persona of a Pisces, and also you could have repressed a lot and even lied a lot to keep the peace. So in this life, you come as an Aries to be blunt and tell the truth and live your truth, not just speak it. Also, with the Aries rising, the principle I have a call interrupt. I'm on my phone device. So with the principle of the Aries is I am. It's kind of like when a baby is born and it realizes it is a being, it is a person. It's realizing itself in many ways. Also, with that particular energy, once again, it's that baby exploring and wanting to move forward, and the baby crying. It's, you know how a baby can be selfish and wah, and nothing else matters except for what the baby wants. So that's that Aries energy. That's the baby's first step. It is the I am principle. Now, if you are a Taurus rising in this life, you are in the energy of I have. So that's when the baby grasps the rattle and starts to play with it and realize the toys around it. And also eating, feed me, hunger and experiencing all of that, or pass me the tit, all of that. That's the second experience of the baby in this growth process. So the baby realizes objects. So in a past life, you could have been adventuresome, like an Aries, impulsive, maybe even reckless and impatient. So with this life, you've come to embody patience to a certain degree. You may want to say, well, I moved too fast in the past life. I let people and things go too easily when I was being reckless and on to the next adventure. Now I want to hold on to the things that I got and acquire, and that I get and acquire. So that's why you've come as the Taurus rising energy. Keep in mind, we're not talking about your sun sign. We're only talking about the risings in this video. Now, with that being said, hold on. Just making sure I've covered everything on the Taurus notes. Moving forward into Gemini Rising. So if you find yourself as a Gemini Rising in this lifetime, you could have taken on the embodiment of a past life as a Taurus. You may have been slow and steady wins the race. You may have been a property owner. You may have been about acquiring material things and creature comforts and eating and all of that stuff. So in this process, as a Gemini rising, you are on the stage where a baby becomes a toddler and begins to realize others around them, kind of like when the child goes to preschool or daycare for the first time. So you've come to make relationships with those around you, your siblings, your friendships, your soul group members, and things such as that. And that's also, this is a stage where the Gemini rising energy, the baby learns to talk. But mama, dada, baba, all of those type of things, because Gemini is all about communication, babble, and relationships with siblings and friendships, and short-term learning like artful play and things such as that. And your principle in this life is I think. So you've come to experience that in this particular lifetime, coming out of the Taurus energy of I have. and I acquire things in order to make connections with people, not just material things and your basic animalistic hungers and desires and senses. So you've come to get more into your cerebral experience. Moving forward, if you are a Cancer rising in this lifetime, you have come to embody the I feel energy. And that is when a baby learns to care. That is when a baby realizes that it has affection for its mother, its father, its friends, its family. So you've come to not just grasp material things like the Taurus, but grasp people that you care about and hold on to them tightly and embrace them. It's a very sentimental energy. So in a past life, you could have been more cerebral, more playful and light and detached with your play. This time you've come to feel a little deeper in this particular lifetime. So that's what the Cancer rising represents if you were the Gemini energy in a past lifetime, because we must all go through the 12 signs of the zodiac. Let's see, I'm just making sure I got everything when you see me looking down at my notes. If you find yourself being a Leo rising in this life, in the past life you could have been more sentimental, matriarchal, motherly, either being a midwife or nurse or babysitter, taking care of other people's children or having your own children. You could have even sacrificed your goals, talents, and gifts for the sake of caring for family and putting family first and things like that. But this life you've come to live on a grand scale in general, to a certain degree, and be noticed for your talents, accomplishments, gifts, and abilities beyond the nurturing of your family. So it's a big joyful energy, because Leo energy still deals with children, just like the sign of Cancer deals with mothering. So it's kind of like coming into your inner child. What do you want to do? What makes you happy in this lifetime? So that's the purpose of the Leo rising, is coming out of that Cancer energy from a past life, or that Cancer persona. So that's the I will energy. Moving forward, if you find yourself being a Virgo rising in this lifetime, in a past life you could have been known for being someone royal, noticed, having servants, being waited on hand and foot, being grandiose, displaying your talents, dramatic, maybe even doing some acting or something such as that, or a playwright, anything where where people take notice of you and you're entertaining and things such as that. That could have been on a grand scale, but in this life you've not come to be served like the Leo. You have come to serve and be more humble, be more diligent in work, be more focused on analyzing the things of life and the things around. This particular stage of the child's development, and let me go back and talk about Leo real quick because I missed their point. On this particular stage of development, let me say of Virgo first, this is where the baby learns order and detail. This is the area where the baby is a child in elementary school and they're learning mathematical equations, 1 + 1 is 2, and scientific methods and the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water, and analyzing things in its environment further. That is the path of the Virgo rising. Now let me go back and quickly, because I didn't give Leo its due. Leo is the part where the child is in elementary school and they're in the talent show and they're showing off their gifts and abilities. Look at me, I can sing like baby Michael Jackson. So let's jump back forward. And the principle of Leo is I will. The principle of Virgo is I analyze. Pardon me, this is a live stream, so I can't go back and edit it, but I wanted to make sure I included everybody's principles. Now let's move on into Libra rising. Let's hope I can stay on point with this. Libra rising, in a past life you could have been the person that was just, your head was in the books, like the geek and analyzing things. And also with the past life as Virgo energy, you could have died as a child or before you were able to get married and have a family. You could have been a teenager or passed away as a virgin. So you didn't really get a chance to have that 7th house energy, get married, have a relationship quite possibly. Or if you did, it could have been very cold, very 50-50, detached, cerebral, very organized and structured and just bland and all that type of stuff. And so in this life, you've come to experience the sweetness of the Venus 7th house energy with the Libra rising in general, but also depends on your other placements. But you also, with the past life as a Virgo, you could have been very prejudiced, judgmental, or discriminate of other people, whereas in this life you've come to have balance, be a little more tolerant. This is the aspect with a child, because of the principle of Libra says I balance. So this is the aspect where the child learns to play with others. You know how in elementary school or preschool they tell a child, don't hit, you must share your toys, you have to learn how to tolerate and get along with others and play with others. play with your peers. That's the Libra energy. So you've come to embody that in this life, rather than just being a hermit like the Virgo energy to yourself, just knows in the books and studying. And you've come to learn how to get along with others with the Libra rising energy. And once again, that energy is I balance. You've come to you're gonna come out of that authoritarian, restrictive energy that Virgo lives in, and you've come to once again enjoy the pleasures of life, and also be diplomatic and, you know, tolerant of other people's views and things such as that. Now, if you find yourself a Scorpio rising in this life, that is the era of a child's development where they're going into puberty. They realize that they may have little tingly feelings down there, or crushes on people and stuff like that. So that's the I desire phase of life. I realize I have a sex drive and things such as that. Even if it's not acted on, I hope it's not acted on at that age, but it's that energy where a person realizes that they desire to be one with another person in the physical. So that's in a past life, you could have had a bunch of partnerships or one special partnership, but it could have been based on the superficial. Even the relationships could have been based on the superficial. I want to be around a bunch of beautiful people, or successful people, talented people, and too much tolerance, because too much tolerance can tip the scales into imbalance. So you've come to say no, but not like a Virgo, but you've come to say no in order to be protective. So you're going to be more bold in this life, kind of like that Aries energy, because also Scorpio, even though it's ruled by Pluto, it has an aspect of Mars to it. So it's come to be a little more tough, a little more deep, going deeper into the psyche rather than what the Libra would do. Libra would be more of the, I don't want to say shallow, I'm not calling anybody shallow, but Scorpio dives deeper, more introspective, more detailed about what it learns about other people that they want to be with and want to know about. They're very suspicious and curious beyond just the surface. Like Gemini is curious too, but only surface scratching. Scorpio wants to know who you were in a past life and what you did and what's your favorite food. It just goes deeper and deeper. And also it's the area where one commits no matter what. So it dives deeper with that particular energy. So superficial partnerships in a past life could have been a thing based on what looks good and what's trendy. You could have cared too much about what others think. Whereas you want to incarnate in this life into the bold Scorpio Pluto energy, to where you go all in with what you believe. You're not trying to balance sides. You believe what you believe, and it is what it is. You dive deeper with it, and to hell with who doesn't like it. That's the Scorpio rising energy. Moving forward, if you are a Sagittarius rising, that's my rising sign. That principle of that is I discover. That's the part where the child is past puberty pretty much, or developed, and going into the college years. So you realize that there's more out there in this big old world, and more people to know, more cultures and foreign exchange to experience beyond the comfort of the community and the home. And you reach out and you meet others, and you branch away and you leave home and you discover other things and you have adventures. So in a past life, you could have been viewed as powerful, sexy, mean, too deep, a witch, a hoodoo type of person, a shaman, a person that's way too intimidating to a certain degree, way too intimate, maybe feared, maybe committed too much to where it was to your defect or hurting someone else. Kind of like I would say a seductress energy, and also feared like a mob boss sort of energy. Not saying you were a mob boss in the past life, but it's that type of energy. So you've come to discover theology, higher learning, dealing with foreign cultures beyond your comfort zone and all of that stuff. So that's the Sag rising. You're coming out of that past life Scorpio energy, and you're moving into discovery and expansion beyond what your eyes can see and what you're familiar with. You're getting out of your comfort zone to experience and taste different elements of life. If you are a Capricorn rising, in a past life, you could have explored the world beyond you and been like this guru or poor righteous teacher sort of energy, and now you've come to climb the social ladder, make a few sacrifices, rub elbows with certain people who are so-called important in society that can bring you material gain of some sort, and that's what you've come to experience. And that particular energy is I use, or I utilize, like a human using a tool. So this is, the child is now into adult phase. They're beyond the college exploration years, and now they're in the networking years. They're social climbing, trying to gain rank in their career and their business. So that's the experience of the Capricorn rising. Let me look at my notes. I pretty much said all of this. Hold on one second. Yeah, so you've come to acquire status and material success, not just a religious mindset. And also you want to rub elbows with aristocrats or people that you consider important to whatever goal it is that you have, an opportunist to a certain degree. Now, if you are an Aquarius rising, you are living under the principle of I revolutionize. So with that energy, this is where the child has gone through the Capricorn phase, you've socially climbed, and now you've seen there's been a lot of injustices and unfairness and people being sacrificed for the wrong reasons or principles, what you believe in. You may have had to compromise your principles in order to gain material success. So now this time with the Aquarius rising in this life, you've come to stand up for the rights of the little people. You didn't just come to rub elbows with the big people. You've come to rub elbows with people who are struggling, suffering, and also unique people, the underdog, the people who live out the box in an unconventional manner, that Uranus energy. So that's what you've come to do, is to revolutionize. In a past life, you weren't always friendly to the little people. You could have overlooked the janitor or the servant, and you could have followed the status quo even if it hurt little people with outdated values. And you had to keep quiet of social injustices and things such as that in order to keep your position in society. You could have felt trapped, or you could have even sold your soul. And I don't like that word because I don't believe you can really sell your soul, but just kind of selling your integrity in a past life in order to keep your social status, to where in this life you're like, forget it, I'm going to speak up. I don't care what it means. So that's what you've come to do in this particular life, is to revolutionize. Now, if you are a Pisces rising, you are under the principle of I believe. So with that energy, that's like when the full-grown adult has gone through the baby phase and now they want to be one with all things. With Aquarius, they don't necessarily feel one with all things, but they want to help people even if the people are different from them. With Pisces, they want to know the entire experience, because now the baby has gone from Aries into the final phase of Pisces, which is the final frontier, and you've experienced it all. You've gone through the entire karmic wheel of life, and now you are at the elder process. You've seen it all, heard it all, been it all. You've been the Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, all the other things to be. So now you are one with it all. You've experienced it all. I've been there and done that sort of energy. So with that, with that Pisces energy, it connects back to the spirit world, because that is what the soul comes to do, is to have the Fool's journey or the Aries journey, and then finally move into that Piscean energy. Because in the past life, you could have been a freedom fighter for people and helping people and speaking out the box and doing things like that. Where in this life, you kind of want to go more in, be introspective, and going more into the spiritual world. You're longing for that ancestral or fifth, sixth, and higher dimensional realm. So in this life, you may be in that kind of woo-woo energy or psychic energy, deep Neptune energy, to where you're going back into the subconscious mind or the higher conscious or super conscious. So that's the purpose of the Pisces rising, being with that Aquarius, leaving that Aquarius energy from a past life. Now, the next clue to past life energy would be your life path number. So if you are life path 1, possibly in a past life, you could have been a person who's like a chameleon. You may have had to wear a mask and go along to get along in order to be around people, in order to get things done. You may have had to kind of not show your hand or your intentions. You could have had a strong relationship with ancestral energy. You could have had a lot of unexpected change against your will. But in this particular life, you have come to live your truth and speak your truth, like the Aries energy. You have come to explore and do things differently, not just go along or get along with the group. If you are life path number 2, you could have mastered being the boss, the center of attention, the loner, the risk taker. And now you want partnership in this life as a life path 2. If you're life path 3, you could have had intimacy, partnership, and now you want to add other people and group efforts, not just that 7th house energy of you in a relationship with with one soul connection with another person, but you want to add multiple groups of people, and you want to socialize and branch out and explore and play and laugh and have fun and create beautiful things. If you are in life path 4, in a past life, you could have been playful, immature, not taking things as seriously, wanting to be out the box, wanting to be a little different, not exploring, not acquiring the things that you want to acquire. So in this life, you've come to acquire things like that Taurus 2nd house energy. So you come as a life path 4. If you are life path 5, in a past life, you could have been so stuck on acquiring things like Tauruses and 2nd house energy, to now you want to get out there and meet people like that Sagittarius energy. You want to explore different people. You want to explore different things, have different sexual pleasures or conquest, quite possibly. You may even you may have even held back with your expressions in the past life, and now you want to speak up, you want to debate, you possibly like a little drama, a little conflict, a little argument here and there. So that's the life path 5 in general. If you are life path 6 in a past life, you could have been discriminated against. You could have discriminated against others. You could have been in a lot of dramatic situations, dealing with enemies, conflict, war, exploration, being a cheater in your home life, quite possibly, or being cheated on, being abandoned, cast out. Now this time you want to know what it feels like to have a home and to have peace and to serve and balance and to care about other people, like the Cancerian 4th house energy. So you are life path 6. If you are a life path 7 in a past life, you could have been so devoted to home, like the Cancer energy. You could have been so devoted to home, or being a nurse, a caretaker, a midwife, the doula, and things such as that. So in this life, with the life path 7, you want to explore more about yourself and understand why things are the way they are in this life. You want to know more about yourself. You want to know more about other people. You want to dive deeper with information. You've come for spiritual knowledge and observation and analyzing the spiritual things of the world. So that's why you are life path 7. Also, if you are life path 8, moving forward in a past life, you could have been so caught up in knowing why and trying to understand why, and you may not have acquired all of the material things you want to acquire, just constantly being a student of life, to where in this life you want to focus on one thing and you want to climb socially, like that Capricorn energy, and you want to acquire authority, status, position, money, power, and all that good stuff. So you come as a life path 8. If you are life path 9 in a past life, you could have been the CEO, the manager, the boss. You could have had a strong social position, acquired all the money and material assets of that 2nd house sort of energy. So you've done all of that. Now you want to connect more with your relationships, even if it means you have to be a little more tolerant and maybe not be as blunt with speaking your truth. So you come as a life path 9, also to have a good connection to ancestors. Now also you can apply this same energy to your soul urge as well. So soul urge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can apply the principles of that life path of what you're wanting to do, because the life path is kind of like the course that you're going, whereas the soul urge is what your soul wants you to do in this life, along with North Node energy. But we're not talking about North Nodes in here, because North Node is this life, South Node is a past life energy. And I hope I'm not mixing you up with astrology and numbers and all this stuff. These are different clues. So feel free to take notes, and I will leave timestamps in the description box. Now, I'm also not going to cover the master numbers once again. So if you're a life path 11 or soul urge 11, of course, that's the master number 2 energy. If you're a life path or soul urge 22, that's number 4 energy. 33 is 6 energy. 44 is 8 energy, etc., etc. Now, we're also not going to cover karmic debt in this video because I don't have enough time. I'll do a different video about karmic debts, but you can also find information about your karmic debt number in my Ori Finding Your Purpose and Improving Your Life Working with Your Oversoul book, and I'll leave that in the description box below. I talk about karmic debt number 13, which is a 4 life path or 4 soul urge or destiny number. 14 is from number 5 energy, and that's the karmic debt of number 5. 16 is from number 7, that's a number 7 energy, and 19 is number 1 energy. So not every number 1 person or number 4 person, number 5 person, number 7 person has the karmic debt numbers. It depends on how everything calculates. If it runs into a 13, 14, 16, or 19, those are karmic debt numbers. So with that being said, I won't talk too much about that this particular time. That'll be a different video. But you can, once again, you can look at my Ori book for information on that. So with that being said, you also want to look at the house that your South Node is in. So if your South Node is in the 1st house, that's Aries energy. 2nd house is Taurus energy. 3rd house is Gemini energy. 4th house is Cancer energy. 5th house is Leo energy. 6th house is Virgo energy. 7th house is Libra energy. 8th house is Scorpio energy. 9th house is Sagittarius energy. 10th house is Capricorn energy. 11th house is Aquarius energy. And 12th house is the energy of Pisces. So you want to not only look at the sign, but you want to look at how that house is superimposed on it in order to dive deeper, if you want to get a clue to how you were in a past life. Now also, I didn't mention for the rising sign, once again, you can look at that particular energy and you can superimpose it. Once again, the rising is the persona or your reputation, how people viewed you in a past life, whereas the South Node is more about your true character, how you were in the past life. So that's the difference if you get confused. So let me say further, the house your South Node is in, the first house deals with self, second house deals with material gains and the five senses comforts, third house is intellectual ability, siblings, and communication, fourth house is the mother and family, home life dynamic, nurturing, fifth house is fame, grandiosity, creativity, and children, the sixth house is service and work, diligence, analytical capacities, seventh house is romantic relationships in general, eighth house is other people's finances, of death and change and things being transient and not always staying the same, nomadic energy. Ninth house is theology, faith, good fortune, dealings with foreign cultures and international exchange. 10th house is business and social status climbing. 11th house is the house of friends, social revolution and innovations and inventions and things such as social media and new things that are coming up like artificial intelligence and all that good stuff. And 12th house energy is the I am, all of it energy, where it encompasses the entire astrological wheel. Woo! I got through with that. Like I said, I'm going to have to do a different video on the karmic debt numbers 13, 14, 16, and 19. I think that's all of them, and we'll get into that in a different video. Once again, you can also read about the karmic debts in my Ori Finding Your Purpose and Improving Your Life Working with Your Oversoul book. It talks about that to a certain degree, and you can find that on Amazon if you don't want to do the ebook, and also have the video class on that. So that's that. That's a clue into your past life. If you don't want to do a past life regression, it's not in your budget. Those will give you the clues that you need. Also, looking at your relationships. Like, say, for instance, if your South Node is in Aquarius like mine, and you meet somebody with their moon in Aquarius that's very important in your life, somebody you can't shake and you know you got a soul connection, that'll give you a clue to what the energy was like in a past life. Or if Venus is conjunct, or Mars, Jupiter is conjunct, or their Sun or Rising is conjunct to your South Node or North Node, it'll kind of give you clues to who they're supposed to be in your life and if they're supposed to stay in your life. If the person is more connected to your South Node rather than your North Node, that person is probably not going to stay in your life for the rest of your life this time. They're supposed to give you strong lessons early in the years to catapult you into your North Node, which is the destiny direction. So with that being said, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. I'm so happy I got a chance to finally do a teaching live this week. It's been a while. I'm talking fast because I don't have that much time. All right, I'll see y'all next time. All right, enjoy this. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace.